So you see, I see everywhere the same. To when you get up as an elderly, okay, they take care. When they need to feed you, they take care. In between, nobody. You have people with a lot of medications, waiting that time is going on. So that's terrible. So in this case, we need absolutely help from this social robot that can play, do music, stimulate your interest, There's no other way. Otherwise, of course, if you belong to the 1% of the super rich, you get all the money. You don't care because you can have a team of people who will take care of you. But if it's not the case, for most of us, a very big majority, then, maybe it's a technology that could help us. Okay, so to finish my presentation, what I would like to tell you is since this Monday, that means yesterday, Nadine is working in a company in Singapore, AIA Insurance. So it's a big insurance in Asia. And we had a press conference last Friday where the let's say, CEO, and I was present too, informed that they will use, when they are peak hours, this kind of robot like Nadine. Why? Because, at peak time, people take a ticket and they have to wait, and it takes time on their lunchtime. So then they can support in peak hours. And after 5, they leave and Nadine can stay there, to monitor, to do extra hours and so on. So if we keep positive in the way we use robots, it's a good experience. And it's a good experience because I think it's the first time in the world that a robot really works. We heard a lot of things, but you never see in insurance or banks that a robot is really working in a row with others. Okay, we have seen functional robots, arm robots working in a company like producing cars. This is okay, but not social robots that can interact freely with customers. So this is the first film we have on it, so please look at it. Like we can show the film with
I'd like to ask a question about the design of the robots. So as you showed it in the presentation, there is two ways of designing them. One is to make robots really similar to humans, as Nadine, and another way is to design them as in many sci-fi movies, like the guy from Honda, etc. So what's your opinion on that? How do you decide to do Nadine like that?
Yes, thank you for the question. It's very important to see, particularly from customers, if we would have a company, to know what people would like. Okay, so myself, I've since 30 years working on mostly virtual humans, you know, because before making robotics, I was working on 3D characters. So I was only interested to make realistic being. I had my clone in 3D, so if you ask me why, I don't know. It's like a dream. I always thought, you know, I went when I was a young child in a puppet theater, you know. In Switzerland, you could go to friends and you see this puppet. And I was so fascinated, I think that has driven me to do, and I don't like any other robots. It's just my personal taste. Now I can understand that people say, okay, because you are a machine, look a bit like a machine and not like a human. Otherwise, if you look like a human, we can think you are a human and it's like we don't feel good. So I think in the future, there should be an option of people, what do you want to have? You know, myself, my next step will be the third age. Okay, when I am in third age, I don't like a small robot to talk to me. I think it is an insult to me. I would like to have a Nadine. But maybe some elderly would like to have a small one, or a dog, or whatever. So when you ask this question, it's very important. I think it should be a choice from people who would like to buy one. Do you like human-like? Do you like animals-like? Do you like cartoon-like? Do you like object-like? Do you like a statue-like? Very important question, in fact, yeah? Yes?
I have a question about how do you program it for your robot? For how do you update its software? Is it cloud-based or is it machine-based?
Well, actually, it's both. Because when we have Google Assistant, so in some way it's cloud-based. Some parts are cloud-based. Like you have seen when we ask questions to Nadine, she has her local database on her laptop next to her. It's not inside, it's next to her. So it's immediate. And then when she goes to the cloud, you can ask her what is the weather, who is the president of Russia, whatever. Then it is on cloud.
How you will solve the question about data security? So it's cloud-based. So
You ask a very important question. Why? Because for AIA, I must say, Nadine we have been working 6 months for security reasons. You know why? Because Nadine is able to reach AIA all data sets. And then they say it's completely closed, you cannot do it. So that was permission to ask, because our software is academic, a bit free, we have open source, and suddenly this platform has to link with very securized platform. So then it's AIA which allow us to come in, you understand? And they have put some security, but for sure, through Nadine, some people could go through and reach AIA security, surely.
Some companies like Amazon try
Yeah.
to contact you because they have Alexa.
Yes?
And it's a perfect
Yeah.
companion to integrate Alexa into some kind of social robots.
Yeah, but Alexa is only a voice, you know. Alexa is a voice. All the work we do is motor actuators and presence. You know, Alexa is just a voice and has nothing by itself. Nadine can explain things by itself, can remember you, can have a personal interaction, can discuss all kind of things. It's not a private discussion you have with Alexa. It's more, you know, it's a voice first. It's not an embodiment of somebody. And second is most an interaction of what is the weather and this kind of thing, yeah?
I mostly mean its implication for purchases. Because some elderly people would like to maybe they have some requests for just buy me some groceries, and they just don't talk to Alexa. Maybe they will talk to your robot.
Yeah.
So I mean integration in that.
That's true. But you know, Google, Microsoft, you can get access. I mean, you can link Google AP to our platform, like Microsoft, but some of them, like I'm not sure with Alexa, you cannot. So, you know, collaboration is very difficult. I mean, in some way what you do as academics, you like to go forward, so you take whatever is available. Then if you need to have a lot of discussion, for example, you know, SoftBank, who owns most robots, came to us and said, okay, can you work? And then it was only for paper. So for us, we are not interested, you know, because we think we should go our own way. So this is complicated. Yeah. For now, we are researchers. We just like to go forward and not to be, you know, limited by company request in a certain views. You know, research normally is a domain where you go yourself forward.
Do you know any examples of other social robots?
Yes, you have seen, for example, the robot, what is her name? Sophia. Yeah, you have seen, for example, all the Japanese robots, like Ishiguro's robots, yeah. You have similar one. There's not so many around the planet. I would say if we calculate each of them, it's maybe maximum, if 20 maximum, maybe less, yeah. Other questions? Yes, yes, here.
Very nice presentation. And I have a question, what about other languages and speech rate, speech recognition of the kids? Because I have two kids, and for example, it's very bad in speech recognition in Russia. My fast voice and speech recognition of the kids, and I have you have the same problem in
You know, as we work mainly as a recognition of speech and generation of speech with Google, what we do as research is the understanding, but the recognition is through Google. What we have chosen is Nadine can go to 70 languages. So I didn't show you, but recently we have President Modi from India who came, and Nadine was welcoming him as an Indian person and speaking freely Hindi with him. So she can speak Hindi, she can speak Japanese actually. Hindi because I have researchers which are coming from India. Japanese because I have a Japanese one. German, French and English. English is official spoken in Singapore. German, French I can speak myself. So each language, and Chinese of course everybody in Singapore. So we have about actually 8 languages or something like that. It's fluent. The only problem you have to wait a bit because the work is, Nadine is mainly in English. When somebody speaks, for example, German or Russia, but we didn't try in Russia. I have no Russian actually, please come to our place, but okay. If she would, then there is always a translation to English, because all the data set is in English. So whatever the language is translated English, working in English, back to the origin language. Okay, other question? Yes?
Thank you for the presentation. So I have 2 questions. One is, who are the main investors of this project? University, government, or maybe it's your own project? And the second one is, what is the final aim? So commercial aim to sell it to somebody, or really social aim that you allow to use it in hospitals or something like this?
Okay, so the first one is who pays for it, yeah? In academics, I think it's the same in Russia all over, because myself I'm also Canadian, so I used to be a professor at University of Montreal. So what I can say is always the same, and in Europe, in Geneva, we are on EU projects. I think Russia is not, unfortunately, because if you would join, it would be a great asset and you will get money from, so it's how we are paid. So you propose something that should be new, and a group of experts will say yes or no. So this is a bit the academic style wherever you are on the planet. So we don't need to do a product per se. What are our, let's say, performance measurements are if you publish, if the journal where you publish has high impact factor, if you have some impact on society, like going to museum, going to AIA, for me is good points to understand. So we have performance measurement. First is publication, second is your impact, what you show to the world. For example, Nadine, when she was shown to the world, people were, we didn't know it could be possible. So it stimulates others to run also in this direction. You understand? Yeah. So this is the first thing. Now the second thing, what question was it? Your second question?
What is the final aim? Commercial?
Yes, okay, so I answered a bit. So you see, when you are in academics, let's say, if you are in Europe, you have absolutely to be the innovator in terms of research. Methods, algorithms, papers, this is number 1 in Europe. Now, if you are in Singapore, it's a bit different. Singapore is more pragmatic, so they like you work with a company. It's the reason why AIA put $300 US in this to encourage us to work and to have the, let's say, first time in the world robot to work. You understand?
Yeah.
So this kind of transition. Now, of course, myself, I have mainly Chinese who come to me and would like to create a company. So if it's interesting enough, I'm just in discussion actually, why not? I'm ready even to my stage to go for a spin-off and try to have many Nadines. So not Nadines to answer you. It's maybe, you know, Art Science Museum, maybe like Giacometti or whatever, you know, something more artistic, maybe not really, you know, because I'm sensitive to the comments, well, afterwards you think is a person, maybe it should be just a beauty next to you, beauty depending on us, you understand? So if I have the chance, I will go for it. You understand? My last step, I will go for it. Yeah?
How many Nadine exist? Only
Okay,
one? It's the same
actually
Nadine?
there are two. One we have in Singapore, and the other one is in Germany, in the unique science museum in Germany, you know, in northern Germany. So there are two. But we are building one. I didn't show because I didn't have the time, but we are building new ones. So how do we build new ones? We make 3D models. You know, for example, I can be scanned with 3D scanner. Afterwards, I have a 3D model. Through CAD model, we give all kind of information. We 3D print, and then we have all the structure, and we add the motors and actuators. Actually, we are nearby to finish one. So once we have an example, then we can go on production chain. You know, this is one of my dreams. Hopefully, will
People,
come
if
fully
you answer
true.
the third one is here.
Yeah, well, it's so nice what you say, yeah? So, yes, yes, maybe you, I didn't hear, yeah?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. And what will happen if you put two Nadines in one room?
Yes.
Will they make friends? What should they
You
do?
know,
What will they do?
No, but it's, you know, there's quite a lot of people who work on networking robot together, because what you have to think is, in fact, platforms, software platforms. So it's absolutely no problem to let them communicate.
Okay.
So now the problem is more the research. Who, you know, it's like two humans in the same place. What do they do if they are, let's say, scheduled to do things? So who does what? How do you share information? Is exactly the same. So I think the more we will go, the more we will have a lot of robots that maybe contribute to a task, you know, in the future. So your question is the research ongoing. You have people working on 100 robots, but not realistic, very simple, interacting together and to divide tasks. So this is parallel research. We don't do that ourselves because we are very focused on interaction with one, you know, but is research going around, probably in Russia too. Yeah, but it's something else. One day maybe all this will be merged together, so we will have super entities, yeah. Yeah, but then we have to think what we do with it. But anyway, other questions? Yes?
Thank you very much for your presentation. Did you watch the movie called Her by
Yes,
Nadja?
yes, yes, yes.
Their main character developed with their soft
Yes.
is called Samantha. And what do you think? Is it our future or just imagine of the director of the film just to be with a very strong relationships with the person who is, I think, somewhere he even don't understand it.
You know, first is a film myself. I'm a robotician with motors, actuators. You know, this makes me a bit sick. I don't like so much because I think it's romance and we have so much technical problems. So, okay, but I can imagine the good sense of that because people think, okay, what will be, and your question has a lot of sense. That means that if I have, let's say, an ideal person with me, do I like it more than anybody else? You understand? I don't know, you know, because Nadine, that's true that now she has left NTU, she was at the entrance, and she is now in AIA. In some way, or if I would leave Singapore and Nadine there, because in fact it belongs to NTU, it's a bit something from my heart that's going away, you understand? So we have some relationship, yes, but I think we have relationship with nice car, you know. if you see nice BMW or Maserati or whatever, or you go to I don't know, you have people they like paintings, or ladies or men liking clothes, or you read a novel and you like so much somebody, you go to a film, the actor, you just dream of this actor for many days. So I think cats or dogs, we are dependent of all kinds of things. Maybe it's better to be dependent of this than alcohol or drugs. Or, you know, sometimes I just look at the reality of things. And why not? I mean, you know, but at the end of the day, what I can tell you, because it's more than 30 years that I'm with these virtual entities and Nadine, I never appreciated so much a human since then. You know, for me, having a relationship with a human is the ultimate gift, because the machines are cold. They have no initiative, no emotion, no nothing. They are just proceeding what we ask them to do, without soul, without anything. So when you have a human, you know, you feel I don't know, something so much more. So for me, I learned what is life, what is fantastic gift we get when we are born, in fact, you know, if we are not in bad conditions. And I think over time, people will completely feel it's so different to have a human than a robot. So very soon they will take robots, okay, do this, do that, a bit like slaves. Okay, but then they are machines, we don't mind. And that's it. I think so. Over there, because at least it's what I feel. And I think the people with me who works feel the same. You know, it's only when we don't have daily contacts we think, but on the long run, Nadine is nice, but you know, she has no complexity. In fact, she has a software complexity, but no human complexity. And humans are so complex. In fact, we are so complex with all our emotion, desire. Nadine has no desire. You know, so no death, no. So well, I think it's a machine. Yes. Any yes?
Yes, thank you for the presentation and for the incredible job that you do. So my question is, when do you think she will be ready to serve this primary purpose? Are there any plans to send her to the nursery system? Or
Yes. After AIA, next year in January we have a project with dementia people. So these people are, you know, I have been in Singapore. I was very depressed after my many visits. Why? Because you feel people, for you, maybe some of you feel old, but some of them are 50. You know, it's not just elderly. Some of them are 50 and they are so much out of the box, you know, and even if they are there, nobody cares. So, you know, they are like doing nothing for hours. So we need stimulus. So this is our plan to work for that, the next step. So we have already in line with, and this is the next project. Any other question? Yes, maybe the lady, and after you.
I thank you for the presentation. My question is, are you going to make different versions of Nadine?
Yeah.
Maybe male version,
Yeah.
or maybe a Nadine with another character, like, you know, different voices of
Yeah.
Google Assistant.
Yeah, you are fully right. I made Nadine as a lady because, you know, my colleagues are all male. As you can see, they make these robot males. The only one is Ishiguro. But you know, Ishiguro suffers of loneliness. Professor Ishiguro from Japan. What is loneliness? He said in an article, you know, that he feels nothing. So he started to make robots that at least he have something similar to him. So he's in some way handicapped. But otherwise, you know, myself, I made a lady because, not sexy lady, because copy of me, so. But anyway, I decided as a robotician to make a lady. Otherwise, all the guys are doing that, superhero or this kind of thing. I'm not interested myself. But on the long run, diversity is the key, and customers' needs is the key. What do customers need, for what, and how they should appear? This is the key issues. So there was another question, yeah? No question, okay, yes?
Last question.
Yeah?
Do you plan to attend some exhibition in Russia, some technical exhibition?
Well, I was yesterday and I give a talk tomorrow at Kolkovo, you know, this super event being held here. And well, it's always open. You know, I must say, maybe as Russian you don't like, I don't know, nobody likes it when I say that, but it's a reality. In Europe we don't like so much, but I think now China is pretty much going ahead. So, you know, my main visitors, I know I am in Singapore, but my main visitors are from China and all companies, and there's so much, let's say, dynamism in China. So I think the next step will be done with Chinese, because, you know, they are so passionate. Before were Japanese, but Japanese is a bit over, you know. We have the Chinese actually, they are everywhere. Okay, maybe Russia, Europe will maybe also be, but the ones who are willing to go ahead, and if you like to go ahead, you partner with the ones who likes to go ahead. So surely it's China, yeah. China has a lot of, you know, and Chinese people, they come from hard time. After revolution, they get nothing, so now they were the manufacturer of the world, you know, and then they go ahead, they like to go better, they work hard, you know, all kind of things that makes them quite dynamic. Yeah, it's what I say. And Singapore is a bit an example. People are working very hard and going ahead. You know, it's a question of mentality. In Europe, we are a bit has-been because, okay, all kind of story, yeah. Okay, so I think there is no more question, yes? Yes, one more?
Do you believe that robots will ever develop consciousness?
This is the topic of the talk tomorrow. I am not happy to be on that because I don't believe in it, but okay, I will let the ones who believe express. I don't believe because it depends on the definition of consciousness. What, you know, if we speak of awareness, that means that I'm aware that I'm in dead zoo here in Russia, and I'm aware that I see people around, I'm aware that I have given a conference, I'm aware that I'm speaking, yes. But for me, consciousness is more than awareness. Consciousness is difficult to define, but is the fact that I am a human. I don't know if there is a God, maybe some you know, but myself, I have still questions. I don't know if I die, when, if I'm sick, if my daughters really love me, and so on and so on and so on, you know. So the consciousness is something very difficult, you know. The consciousness versus the universal is linked to a lot of human emotions. And as computers don't have human emotion, it's all stimulated by equation. So I don't believe in consciousness. So, but okay, tomorrow we will see. There are some people building theory about it, so we will see what they have to say. This is my personal view. Okay, so I think I have answered most questions, yeah?
Thank you so much.